Fashion is really simple. It's always overcomplicated. So I thought I'm going to make a really simple explanation so you can instantly upgrade your fashion to the premium level. So let's get into it. So fashion starts with these three core elements: considerations, objectives, and choices. So first off, your considerations. Let's get into that. So your considerations are your body shape, your skin color, your hair, and your budget. These are all important considerations. Let's go back to the other slide. Your considerations are like, you can't change them. Okay, wait, I'll do a quick definition of fashion. Fashion I'm defining as the things that you can change in a small moment of time. So it's not something like, I'm not suggesting facial surgery would not be fashion. But putting on a different piece of clothing or makeup and that kind of thing would be fashion. They're choices you can make within an hour and change your appearance. I consider that fashion. Okay, so the considerations are things that are the base that you're building on, like the canvas. And so you need to have them as considerations because they do impact other things. For example, the objective, which is the goal you're trying to achieve. Now, your considerations will make it harder or easier to achieve your goal. And your considerations will also make some choices be less effective or worse compared to someone else who had different considerations. So let's have a look at those considerations. Okay, body shape. So if you're trying to look tall and you're short, that's going to be hard. If you're trying to look short and you're tall, that's also going to be hard. These are considerations. Skin color. If you're trying to do certain palettes, well, you could try to do that palette, but it might just not work on your skin. So the consideration. Hair. So the shape of your hair, which makes it curly or straight. The size of your hair, the thickness, and the density. Like these, you could change them long term, yes, but these are considerations that you're going to need to take into account. And budget. Budget, I guess, is a pretty big one, but we're going to ignore that for the sake of this. Okay, objectives. Objective means, what ideas are you trying to associate with? This is the whole point of fashion. You're picking out items to wear that will cause someone to see it and have these beliefs about you just from your appearance. You're trying to make, it's like the book cover. You're trying to make it so the cover of your book gives people the right expectations when they read the book, makes them want to read the book, but also leads them in a way that then when they do actually get to speak to you, they'll be like, oh, cool. And you even exceed their expectations. So you want to set the expectations up here, but then always exceed it. So they expect this and you achieve that. Okay, so I think this is also where people go wrong in fashion. They have not set up the objective. And so when they ask a question like, does this jumper make me look too big? Well, I don't know. What are you trying to make people believe? Are you trying to make people believe you're really soft and kind? Then actually, no, that's a good thing. But are you trying to make people think you're angry? Well, then probably the big soft jumper is not doing your objective. So yeah, let's do some quick more. For example, lots of spikes and stuff. You're coming off as tough and that you show into no. So when you look at other designs, other fashions people wear, the core question you should be asking is, what are they trying to associate with? And what parts? A great example actually is if someone dresses up in a costume, they might say they've well designed it, but it's not going to be normal. Like if someone wears a pirate hat, well, it makes sense for the pirate theme, but if you're not going to a costume party, it just comes off as weird. So probably don't wear a pirate hat in your outfit because you're going to be called weird. You're getting that association. Why is this random guy wearing a pirate hat? It's interesting. Now, if your objective was to stand out, then a pirate hat would be a really good idea. But again, like this is the core. What are the things you want to associate with? I think some core ones, there's some that just stand out all the time. So I think trustable should always be a part of anyone's fashion just for day to day. So which I'll be going to the assumption in, I won't talk about that. I'm just talking about all the things you can decide on. I'm not saying which ones to decide on. I think people are able to do that themselves. So yeah, trustable, you actually see lots of square shapes. Rude, lots of triangles. And soft, lots of circular shapes. So the shape language is infected in that, which we'll probably get into in a bit. Shapes. Okay, this is the choices level. So going back to the start, we have your considerations that influence your choices and your objectives. Now, but your objectives also influence your choices. And so you make your choices with both the objectives and the considerations feeding into it. Cool. And I'm splitting down these choices into two categories. So the higher category is the shapes. These are the bigger decisions. And then the colors are used secondary to reinforce the shapes. An example would be this shape. You've got macro level. So this is more higher level. And then micro level, which is all the little details that emphasize the macro. And then color macro is emphasizing this macro, and the color micro is to also help. It's eventually just like the detail part, just like the micro shapes is the large shapes. Cool. Let's go into our first level of choices, macro shapes. I've broken down these 4 categories. So these are 4 different skills you can learn as you do design. So skill number 1 is segmentation, which is how you're separating an outfit out. So this is how you should think about it. You need to think about how are you making people perceive the parts, and through this you can emphasize different elements of yourself or the fashion you're also wearing. For example, you're trying to make it so people can make it iconic. It's an image that if you saw this design elsewhere, you'd know, oh, I saw that before. It's the same style. Like Darth Vader's helmet, right? You can pick it out pretty easily because it's so iconic. Bam. Like that's a bad drawing, and you can already kind of tell it's Darth Vader. And then next one is proportions. So proportions are very interesting. You don't want it to all be the same size. This is a good example. You're doing lots of ground weighting. So for example, with this outfit, we're signaling this person is quite grounded because we've weighted all down to the bottom. All the weight is down here, and so we're showing this person is grounded. And so just through the fashion decision of the proportions, we're signaling something. Same thing happens with fit. Overfitting usually means like comfort, and so chill. While tight fit usually means more serious, and so that's just how that varies. Too tight fit though, I think that always looks usually weird when people do way too tight. When it has lots of folds, I think has a very different style. If it's tight, like with an elastic, that's a bit different. And then angles. For example, this outfit this is very tying back to the soft, sharp. Soft means you're trying to it's signaling you can come to me and I'm here. And then sharp's kind of like threatening. So, and then solid's kind of in between, where it's something you can rely on. And so these are all the different things you can be making decisions with. Big rule, no half-half. See these proportions? You want it to be split just out of half-half. For example, this outfit, you've got this section here and then this line here. Do not go in the danger zone. Do not do any lines in danger zone unless you're super pro, which we'll get into. Okay, next one we're doing is choices, micro. Let's check this out. So patterns, this is also emphasizing things. Simple upward stripes emphasize height. and width strides emphasize width. Weight again, the weight can emphasize more curves. So the more fabric, the more curvy it ends up. And then the less and less, the more sharp and solid it gets. Accessories, similar thing. The wider they are, the more solid. And then the small bits usually do end up doing softness. Although that can depend on their shape. It usually signals more delicate. It's a signaling. Hairstyle. These kind of can do the preparation, I guess you could say. Like, are they super organized? Well, then they probably will have a more organized hairstyle. Or like they'll have a crimp thing, which is like you're signaling, oh yeah, easy going. Like all these little decisions are signaling different parts. Okay, on to color macro. So for color, these are all kind of one group. This is just breaking down. You don't need to know all these parts, although it is useful. As you choose colors, any color can be made with these three elements, such as, well, what colors am I using right now? So I'm probably using something, probably over here. And then it's a bit lighter on the scale, but it'd be up there. And so if I mixed all these different points, I'd end up with this color that I've got here. When you do an outfit, you're making the palette through using those elements, and that's how you construct these palettes. I'm not going to go into that. You can go watch other videos. People do that already. Next part we're going to do is emphasis. Where are we trying to draw the attention? These thrills circling out, and also the little dot pattern everywhere on this top. All the attention is being pulled to here. This is where it's making your eyes look. Color micro, again, people have done colors a lot. I'll probably just touch on texture and accent. So for texture, these are further doing the softness and the sharpness. So when you have a very reflective fabric, it creates very sharp lines, adding to the sharpness. And then like a wool is usually doing very soft. So again, you're just emphasizing the sharpness to softness scale. For accent, this is just a principle to use when you're picking colors. So you have the base colors, but an accent color really means the one color that is like standing out in a little amount. And so by having all this, you're making it so this part grabs all the attention. But if you were to have this be large, well, it actually makes it less effective. Less is more. Okay, let's review some advanced outfits. So this is a cool one. Again, so this one is, even though this is very close to the half-half, because it uses this jacket hung over, it splits it up. And so it makes it so the weighting is suitable. This one's also interesting. This one's very divided half-half, but you see two things. These are the same color, but then also it divides into thirds horizontally on the top half. So it still balances out. I guess this is a good comparison. I think this outfit is better than this outfit. I don't think it needs any explanation. That's the whole point. This part is too short. It doesn't take up enough space, and it draws emphasis into the weird half line. When the rest of the colors all stand out, it's making it so all your eye attention is pulled down to the middle half. And as we said, we don't want eyes to be going to the middle half. So I'm not a fan. I think you could make this work with something that you just need something that balances this bit out, so it's not just stuck in the half. Maybe even swapping these colors around would solve that, in my opinion. What else do I have? Oh yeah, this is just general pants advice. I don't think. Yeah, go check out this link. That has good explanation to how to do pants for guys. And that is my speed tutorial on fashion fundamentals. I hope you enjoyed and can go on your fashion future, making amazing outfits that don't look bad. Thank you.